What do you do when the one thing you want most in life, God hasn't given you? You pray, you cry, you beg, and then you wonder, is He even listening? Today we're going to look at a woman in the Bible who was in the exact place, broken, desperate, and overlooked. Her name was Anna, and what she did in her pain changed everything. First Samuel 1 verse 10 says, and she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto the Lord, and wept sore. Anna's story is not just ancient history. It may be your story too. Anna lived in a time when a woman's greatest honor was bearing children, and Anna, year after year, had none. To make it worse, her husband Elkanah had a second wife named Peninnah, who had children and never let Anna forget it. First Samuel 1, verse 6 to 7. It says, and her adversary also provoked her so for to make her fret, because the Lord had shut up her womb. And as it did so year by year, when she went up to the house of the Lord, so she provoked her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. Peninnah's taunting was relentless, and even though Elkanah loved Anna deeply, even giving her a double portion, his love could not fill the void she carried. Then said Elkanah, her husband, to her, Anna, why weepest thou, and why eatest thou not, and why is thy heart grieved? Am not I better to thee than 10 sons? He meant well, but some pain only God can touch. Anna had every reason to be bitter, every reason to give up, every reason to stop going to the temple. But she didn't. Instead, she did something radical. She prayed. Anna went up to the temple at Shiloh, and what happened next is one of the most raw, honest, and powerful prayers in all of Scripture. She didn't compose herself, she didn't use pretty words. She poured out her soul. Verse 10 to 11 says, and she was in bitterness of soul, and prayed unto the Lord, and wept sore. And she vowed a vow, and said, O Lord of hosts, if thou wilt indeed look on the affliction of thy handmaid, and remember me, and not forget thy handmaid, but will give unto thy handmaid a man child, then I will give him unto the Lord all the days of his life. She prayed so intensely, with no voice, only moving lips, that the priest Eli thought she was drunk. Verse 14 says, and Eli said unto her, how long wilt thou be drunken? Pull away thy wine from thee. And Anna, even in her grief, spoke up with dignity. In verse 15 to 16, and Anna answered and said, no, my Lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but I poured out my soul before the Lord. Come not thy handmaid for a daughter of Belial, for out of the abundance of my complaint and grief have I spoken hitherto. This is the heart of Anna's prayer. She brought all of herself to God, her grief, her shame, her longing, her desperation. She didn't perform a prayer, she prayed a prayer. And then something shifted. From verse 17 to 18 says, then Eli answered and said, go in peace, and the God of Israel grant thee thy petition that thou hast asked of him. And she said, Let thy handmaid find grace in thy sight. So the woman went her way and did eat, and her countenance was no more sad. Before she received anything, she had peace. That's what real prayer does. It changes you before it changes your circumstances. God heard Anna, and in his perfect timing, he answered. Verse 19 to 20. And the Lord remembered her, wherefore it came to pass, when the time was come about after Anna had conceived, that she bare a son, and called his name Samuel, saying, Because I have asked him of the Lord. Samuel, one of the greatest prophets in all of Israel's history, the man who anointed both Saul and David as kings, and he started as a mother's desperate prayer. When Anna brought Samuel to the temple to fulfill her vow, she didn't weep with regret. She sang 1 Samuel 2, verse 1 to 2. And Anna prayed and said, My heart rejoiceth in the Lord. My horn is exalted in the Lord. My mouth is enlarged over my enemies, because I rejoice in thy salvation. There is none holy as the Lord, for there is none beside thee, neither is there any rock like our God. A prayer of grief became a song of glory. Here is what Anna teaches us. Bring your whole self to God, not a polished version. He can handle your tears. Don't confuse God's silence with God's absence. He was working all along. Make your vow and trust Him with the outcome. Anna surrendered even her miracle back to God. Peace comes before the answer. When you truly pray, something changes in you. Maybe today you are Anna. Maybe you have been waiting for a child, for healing, for a breakthrough, for a marriage, for a door to open. And the silence from heaven feels louder than anything else. I want you to know God sees your affliction. He hears your cry. He has not forgotten you. Psalm 55, verse 22 says, Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Anna's prayer didn't change God's mind. It opened her heart, and God, who had always been at work, brought forth something beautiful in His time. Your story isn't over. Keep praying, keep believing. He's listening.